Time has its moments, doesn't it? Yes, and there's always a particular moment in time, I mean, hopefully, in a full life, more than just one, that you wish you could either revisit or it just never ended. But they do. And of course, a lot of this centers around your formative years in your youth, especially when it comes to falling in love. And these are moments that are frozen in your memory. But even a lot of times, and if you were like me, you certainly were aware of this at that time, that it was fleeting. And that was a bit of feelings of dread, even in the moments of excitement and joy, because you knew it would end one way or another. And it did. So such is somewhat, well, not somewhat, yes, the subject matter of Stasis. This deals with the character of May. She was briefly introduced in the previous episode, and she's Jacob's girlfriend. And the results of last episode, you see why, little does she know how much that's a problem. But I guess, boy, she finds out some secrets in this one. But I don't know if she ever finds out the other one, but, and once again, I don't know if I mentioned this in others. I don't think I did, which is odd. Tales from the Loop is a lot like Twilight Zone, except for it's anchored in this idea of this town around this mysterious place called the Loop. And from it flows all this sci-fi weirdness in this bizarre town that seems to have a bit of a collection of times from the distant future to the past and contemporary times for us. So you never quite know what exactly are they setting it at, and they probably don't even know themselves. But here, the episode Stasis, and it's very much about wanting a moment in time to last forever. Now, Twilight Zone did have a very particular episode. It's very similar to this with the stopwatch episode. So, yeah, I try not to give away everything, which I guess will make these very brief reviews. Because I think I don't think I can do it justice just going through things and whatnot. When it comes to art and what have you, a lot of it is highly dependent on how you're feeling as you experience the story. And so knowing what's to come and whatnot kind of throws it. And some of it, I was kind of thinking, is this really kind of a shock value for the sake of shock value? And the big secret, but no, the telltale signs are there. It does portend this, and it's the sort of mirror one finds between you and your parent, whether in this a mother and a daughter or a father and a son, and all of that. And so I think it's not as shocking as it is, so that I can't think you can just write it off to holy crap, it's oh, you just did that. It's like a jump scare in a horror movie, But the awkward moment of you pretty much fall in love at first sight, and that's all very exciting, and it and it happens in those years more times than not. I mean, it can happen later in life too, but it's never quite the same as this because you're fresh and new to it, and just the fantasy adventure and everything about it. Of what these lovers go through. But at the same time, the whole sadness about this, and this is like the price of wisdom, is sadness. And age, of course. But even though it's this desperation to cling to this powerful moment in time that gave you so much joy and thrill and what have you, the moment you realize it's a moment, it's already begun to end. So no matter what you do, even with this, fantastical, powerful, incident or episode or device, however you want to put it, orchestrates this, with godlike power, it doesn't matter. It's still a moment, and it has its beginnings and it has its ends, and it's in the means by which, you are, because even though they'd achieved this moment as they did, they were still them. And also even the aspect of, wow, we have the world to ourselves. And then didn't want to have it anymore. I don't know how else to put it, but so it's another good one. I'm still thinking the first episode is the best out of these, but this is, I don't really have much complaints to it. Like I said, I kind of wavered on the big shocking scene, but at the same time, it all fits in well with this narrative. I don't know that they continue it further. They don't. I mean, you see people you've seen before, and you know what's going on with them, and especially with her boyfriend Jacob, you know what that's about. But that's not the story. It's, it's off to the side, whereas she kind of was in his episode. And so, but at some point, does it come together, or something maybe about the loop and what have you, I guess. But the threads of all this would have to come to some shared consequence. I mean, good Lord, be careful what you find out there in that town. You go digging through some junk and you say, hey, that looks cool. Leave it alone. Because what they share is this haunting sadness, as I put it, like I said, similar to some of these recent horror films, which actually clinch that idea that their greatest fear is sadness. And of course, your impending doom, and which is brought on by, well, this all ends no matter how good it gets. It's going to end, and that's all very sad. But it's also this, boy, be careful what you wish for, you might get it. And they do. They get what they wished for. And, boy, grass is not as green as you thought it would be. And so, of course, that obvious old lesson is very apparent in Tales from the Loop. So, another good one. It took me a while to get to it. I've been really busy doing the other shows and whatnot. And of course work and what have you. But got this one in, and glad I did. So I still recommend the series. So check it out. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr. Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.